finally here. Well, the wait is over. It's finally Eclipse Day, and the event will have a big impact on the Texas economy and travel, but some people are wondering how it will impact their lives. According to Time magazine, astrologists across the country have seen a big uptick in demand for readings ahead of the eclipse. And to talk a little bit more about that, here we have Miriam Weber from Sister Palm. Who better else to bring in, especially on today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. I want to say that today is like your Masters, your Super Bowl, your World Cup. This is everything that astrologists really talk about when you're dealing with, you know, celestial events. What's bigger than a total solar eclipse, right? So walk us through, I mean, not only the rarity of this, but just the history of eclipses and how it has been such a phenomenon for such a long time, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. So eclipses are supercharged astrological events, and the rarity depends on how you want to categorize it. So we had our last total solar eclipse in 2017, not too long ago, but we won't have another total solar eclipse in Austin, Texas for 600 years.
Wow. It's crazy.
So this is a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this solar eclipse is happening. It's the second one in a series of 3. So we had the partial one in October, and then we'll have another partial eclipse coming this September.
Okay.
So it's a series of 3.
And I want to ask you, I mean, we have you here. What are some of the astrological aspects of this particular eclipse? You were mentioning, you know, the one in October, the one coming up in September.
Yeah.
But talk to us about this one.
Okay, cool. So this eclipse is happening at 19 degrees of Aries.
Okay.
And all solar eclipses occur on a new moon. So new moons spark new events, new chapters in life. And depending on your own astrological makeup, it'll affect each person differently. In mundane astrology, where we're looking at world events, we would say, oh, this is going to trigger a new chapter specifically for the United States because it's occurring over our whole country. And then from an astrological perspective, this eclipse is also being conjoined with Chiron, which is the wounded healer, the wounded warrior.
Okay.
And so although not a planet, it's an important point in the sky. Chiron is all about personal healing.
Ooh.
So wherever the eclipse is happening in your individual chart, it's also interacting with Chiron, the healer. And so that's going to mean something different for each person.
Change is a big one too, and I'm in Aries, so I'm soaking this up. And real quickly, Miriam, what can you tell us about just how people can take full advantage of the eclipse?
So you can get an astrology reading. That's like the number one thing.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm biased, but this is a big deal and it's going to affect each person differently, and you really can't know that unless you look at your chart. Aside from that, the eclipse will be affecting you regardless of if you can see it.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to be in the path of totality?
No,
or, okay.
The eclipse is happening whether or not you see it. If it rains, it doesn't matter. It's still energetically going to happen. And so a lot of people feel erratic energy around the eclipse. It does have to do with the nodes, so that's always something to think about.
Okay, very excited. I mean, so much excitement buzzing around this eclipse. Miriam, we appreciate you taking the time to join us and break down all of the astrological excitement surrounding the eclipse. Thanks again for being with us. We've got to take a quick break. Keep it here. We'll be right back in just a matter of minutes.